morning, everybody. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Excuse me. Just looking at the sky right now, and it looks like it's gonna storm sooner or later. One of the things that I kind of had on my mind the other day in recent bills in Georgia and North Carolina regarding religious freedom and the freedom of transgender persons to use the bathroom or the restroom that matches their gender identity as opposed to their biological sex, or having to hope that there's a unisex or gender neutral bathroom. I have to say that, knowing a few trans persons and dignity is a big part of who they are. Let me say it this way. At some point in our lives, we do become something that we did not anticipate. Just somehow or another, along our life's path, somehow or another, who we are as a person is changed. But at least in my perspective, for trans persons, they have to draw out who they know themselves to be on the inside, despite the fact that you are transgender, and you present to the world as one gender or another. You don't get to use the services or the facilities of that gender. And the reason more is because a handful of lawmakers, inspired by fear tactics, rushed through this deal or this bill without proper time to debate it. This law is inspired by fear, ultimately. And now the governor has signed it, a mere, I can't remember the exact news report, but I want to say it was like 10 hours after it was introduced in the legislature. Don't say it was with bipartisan support, because while there may be some who did support it, again, they did so out of fear as opposed to out of understanding who a trans person is, and basically shaming them to say that you are only your parts. That is what I believe to be very wrong. That change happens to everybody. We don't change our insides, that's not true, because we change our insides with medications that human beings have to undergo a surgical procedure, be it a heart valve or a transplant of some kind. That is changing our parts, what we were created with, for something else. Now, granted that sometimes it's medically necessary, and the other half of the equation is, what do we change on the outside? I would argue that putting on makeup is changing who we are on the outside. I would argue for me, going to the gym is trying to change who I am. To say that the body does not change over time is ridiculous, and that to say that we shouldn't change it is also, in my opinion, ridiculous, because we have control over both inside and outside. We make choices about it, and for a trans person, their body doesn't always reflect the image they know that's inside, and they are working to help they are honoring their body by bringing that image out. And yet to cause harm to that by forcing the person to conform in a way that does not match who they are, or is detrimental. It's mentally devastating, it's psychologically devastating, it's traumatic, it causes more than enough health issues. So I do approach this from a theological, religious standpoint when I say that the North Carolina law is wrong, it should be repealed, and it is discriminatory. Now, of course, not living in North Carolina, there's not much I can do, but offer my hopes and my prayers for those persons who will fight this law, and it is being fought already. I was very grateful to hear that. And I hope that churches and colleagues in that part of the country will take their stands on that these persons are trying to honor the image of God that is within them, that we are all created with. So, I have rambled on for quite a bit, so more thoughts and topics later. Well, it is about 6:30 at night, heading home, had dinner with Toby, a nice little restaurant called Freddy's. He's, how do I want to describe it? It's kind of like it's a drive-in style, but it's not actually a drive-in, and nowhere near like A&W or any of those classic, what you think of as a drive-in, but Toby has council meeting tonight at church, so they don't start until 7 o'clock, and I've got the kids with me, and we're heading home, and I probably after that am going to crash for a little bit. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but got done with dinner, went and got my hair cut, needed a trim, and took a couple of books over to our half-price bookstore.
So just got done working in the office and sorting papers and getting that cleaned up a little bit before tomorrow, because tomorrow is the final push to get the house clean before Mama Kaufman comes. I know Toby's getting really excited about that, and you can just see it in the way he's thinking ahead and thinking, okay, what else do we need to get together? What else do we got to get done before she gets here? And I have to say, calm down, honey. It's going to be okay. We're going to get stuff together. I was finishing up, of course, checking my Facebook feed, and one of the things that I had posted got somewhat negative response. I should say it was a post in support of trans rights. A person who responded to me more got me thinking about that in news articles are all in sound bites and small, easy to digest pieces, so to speak. We're very quick to repost or reblog or share or whatever you do on whatever social media platform you're on. So have some unintended consequences, and I'm kind of and I'm meaning to the fat shaming meme of actor Wentworth Miller, or very cute guy, and the fact that at a certain point in his life he was bigger because he had turned to food as a part of depression. And speaking as somebody who struggles with that same issue, I find a lot of comfort in food. But the fact that very quickly a meme was created and shared a billion times, and people really didn't understand the story and what was going on with that. And I really appreciate the post that he wrote to put that aside. But it's the fact that we are very quick to post things now, and very quick to rush to opinions and then have to have someone explain things or um, educate after the fact, and we're not taking the time really to do good education before we post something. So, long story short, or take away from this, and take away what you will. Well, ultimately, think before you post. Don't just automatically share because the headline is something you agree with. Read the post, read the article, think about it, and then hit the share button if it's truly something you agree with. Or post it, agree with what you agree with, and express why you disagree with some things. Or what did this thing leave out? Um, it it really helps to break the cycle of I'm just sharing this to share it because it generally agrees with my opinion. So, whew, I think I'm going to read for a bit and then probably crash. So, good night, see you tomorrow, and have a good evening.